What's up guys, it is Dan here, back with another episode of Guitar Talk. Roll that intro. What is up everyone? So I am a little bit late to the party with this one. I've got here a Blackstar Studio 10 EL34 amp, which we got in for one of the competitions that we do, and I thought I better, whilst I was photographing it, plug it in, see what it's all about. And usually these studio amps that companies do, I am never kind of quite blown away by them. They all have like a certain sound that they're supposed to be emulating and stuff at a usable volume, but I normally find they don't sound quite right, or they are still way too loud to use at a comfortable level. So that's kind of what I expected when I plugged this in, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought, hey, this is worth doing a video on, as these have been out for a while. There's a few different iterations you can get. The EL34, which this one is a 6L6 model, which sounds a bit more American, and a KT8 version, KT88 version as well. The idea of this amp is it's a simple to use, pretty, I think the term is meat and potatoes in terms of control setup amp for studio use, home use, if you've got a home studio and you just want that kind of cranked valve amp tone without blowing your ears out. So with that being said, let's turn it on. I've got this plugged into, I'm using a PV Wolfgang at the moment because I just got this for myself and it is awesome, so I thought why not use it. Obviously the pickups in this are quite high output. Mic wise, I've got this mic'd up with an SM57 just off the center of the speaker. I know obviously mic placement is generally up to you, what you want to do, but this is a pretty classic mic position and mic. I've not listened to it, so I've got no idea what this is going to sound like for you guys, so roast me all you want in the comments. There is an emulated line out as well, which emulates a mic'd up speaker, so we'll listen to the difference between those two a bit later. But let's turn this on and see what we get. Instantly very cool sounding in the room. Now control wise on this, as I said, is very stripped back, very simple. You just got a gain, there is a boost button for more gain, which is engaged at the moment. There is a tone control, a reverb and a master volume. That's it. There is an effects loop on the back, so if you want to plug time-based effects into it, you can, and put them in the right place in the chain. But that is, yeah, it's as simple as that. The tone control at the moment is just under halfway, which to me seems like a really nice place on this amp for those overdriven tones. It's, in case you're wondering, because I think some of these have got the ISF control on them. I think at least the KT88 model does. The Blackstar, I've got this thing called the ISF control, which if you turn it all the way down, it sounds a bit more American. Turn it all the way up, it sounds a bit more British. This, with the tone control, is more of a case of turn it all the way down, it sounds a bit more bassy, and turn it all the way up, and it sounds a lot more trebly. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Now, the idea of this obviously is that it is made to emulate the sounds of just classic British-based EL34 valve amps, and straight away plugging that in and just dialing in a simple tone, it does that very well. That instantly sounds like a classic British rock style tone. The gain on that was just over halfway. The master volume is just over halfway. Let's turn it down a little bit and see what kind of clean tones we can get. So boost off, gain, let's go halfway with the gain and about a third of the way up on the master volume, middle position, and take the tone just over halfway. Taking the tone up there just really starts to open it up a little bit. As I said, these are obviously quite high output pickups, so if we turn that down to 8. It does respond really well to cleaning up with just turning the volume down a little bit. Again, I'm not expecting kind of Fender style crystal clear stratty tones out of this guitar because it is just full humbucker, fire breathing monster. Maybe I'll grab a Strat, if that's in tune, maybe I'll grab that in a little bit and see how it sounds with a Strat plugged into it. But, so what I'll do now is I'll just kind of chug away a little bit, play away a little bit, and switch between the SM57 and the emulated line out sound to see what the difference is between the two of them. Now obviously I can't hear the difference because I'm in the room with the actual amp itself. I'll listen back to it later on. Hopefully they'll both sound usable and really cool because the amp in the room itself sounds really good. I will yeah, flick between the two, chug away and see what you guys think. Let's turn that up a little bit again and boost re-engaged and see what the difference is. There, I obviously can't comment on what the difference between the two sounds is because I can't hear. I'll listen back later on, but by all means tell me in the comments what you think. So as I said, pretty straightforward setup on this. There's not a lot to dive into in terms of features because it is very stripped back, and I think with this amp that's all you kind of need. If you are looking for an amp which you can take to gigs and mic up and it's not going to be back-breakingly heavy and you're just kind of after that classic British rock style tone, then this is definitely something to look at because even turned up all the way, it's not ear-splittingly loud. You will get it over a drum kit. It is going to sound like a bit louder than the drum kit, but it's not going to kind of like overpower a drum kit. It's going to sit back there in the mix, and where it's a little 1x12 speaker, it's not going to sound particularly big. But mic'd up, obviously, in a small space, like if you're playing in a small kind of club and you've not got a lot of stage space, but you're using a decent PA system, then mic'd up, this thing is going to sound incredible. And you know, again, if you've got like a home studio and you know the soundproofing isn't that good, or even just a normal studio, and you want something that's just not going to take up loads of space, but you can throw a mic in front of it and get that classic British EL34 valve-driven sound, then this is definitely something to check out. Is it worth the money? Yes, these things aren't overly expensive. It is definitely worth the money, and you can use this in your living room as well. If I turn the master volume down so it's quite quiet in the room, and keep the gain turned up for that kind of classic rock sound again, then let's take the D tuner out, so now it should be in drop D. Take it all the way out, and now it's in drop D. And again, turn that master volume down a little bit more. Sorry, I had to go for a little bit of a retune there. Right, so yeah, volume down. This is on like 1, and the gain is still pretty turned up. That is a very usable bedroom volume style amp. So for home use as well, if you want this in your living room, your bedroom, wherever, it's perfectly good for that as well. So in terms of like, if you're playing gigs unmiked, then you know, it's up to you. But this thing certainly excels for me for studio use, which is what the name says, and for home use, band practices as well, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be a really cool amp. Definitely worth checking out if you see one in a shop. Whilst I've got it in drop D, obviously straightforward tone control on this. I will do a bit of like one-handed chugging, and I'll turn the tone all the way down, turn it all the way up, and you can hear the difference between the two. Very cool there. In the room, the tone all the way down compared to the tone all the way up, massive sweep there, but all still very usable, nothing too harsh. Yes, I wouldn't use it with the tone all the way down. It's a bit too muddy for me, but for some people in certain kind of applications, that is still a very usable tone. All the way up, yes, it gets a bit harsh, but it's not like ear-piercingly harsh in the room. Again, I might listen back to the recording later on and just completely disagree with myself there, but that's how it sounds in the room anyway. Let's turn the boost off and go back to some cleaner tones. Cleans up really nicely. Let's turn the volume. So this is the reverb on 10. not completely overpowering. So with the reverb, if you're looking for that kind of washed out, ambient kind of tone, then you might want to use your own reverb pedal or something else. But the reverb on this on 10 is still perfectly usable. For most of this, I've had it about a quarter of the way up. Dry, it just sounds... Nothing surprising there. It just sounds like a cool EL34 dry amp. I'd say there's not really a lot else to go into on this. It's a bargain for what it is. It sounds awesome in the room. It sounds great. Very, very usable to me. Definitely usable for recording. And all I can say is check one out. It is a fantastic amp. So I guess there's not really anything left for me to do or say really, apart from twiddle the controls, have a play and see what you guys think of the tone and show you some of the things that it can do. Cool range, loads of sounds that you can get out of that. Very, very usable and a great price. Definitely worth checking out if you are looking for a cool amp to play with. Anyway, that's it from me. I will see you guys in the next video. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help us grow. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.